I went to our local sporting goods store here and I bought what I thought would be the easiest calls for a new or a beginner turkey hunter to be able to utilize in the woods. I got a couple of box calls, I got a couple of little slate calls, and a couple of little push button calls. I'm gonna get each one out of the package and just see which one I feel like is the easiest one for you to be able to utilize as a beginner turkey hunter. All right, so what we're gonna start off with is these push button calls. This one's made by Quaker Boy. It's called the Easy Yelper. These are not too bad. I actually got two of them. I got one made by HS Strut sitting over here too. I'm just gonna open them up and see how they call straight out of the box. Cause this is how most people's gonna call with them anyways. All you do with this one is it's just a friction call and you mash on this rod and it's gonna make some noise, okay? So if we wanna yelp with it, you can do it a little slower. You can actually cup it and change the... We can do several different calls with this. It will purr. Will cluck. It will yelp. Pretty easy. Well, let's jump into this HS Strut push button call. See if we can cluck with it. See if we can do a purr. Not so hot. Somewhat of a yelp. This one right here, it's easy to call with, but I think the Quaker Boy one's got him beat. Now we'll move on to the slate calls. I got this little ML Lynch Model 100. It's a jet slate turkey call. It's a small turkey call that you can hold in your hand. See if we can make some magic with this one. Kind of sound like a chipmunk. This might need a little work. There we go. That one did okay. Didn't have the greatest sound in the world, but that is a small little slate call. If you've ever used a slate call, you kind of got to figure out which angles is the best for your striker when you're putting it down on there. So once you figure that out, you get a little noise and how much pressure to put down. I wasn't putting enough pressure on it at first. And that's one thing you know about slate calls. Some of them you put a little more pressure to, some of them you don't have to put as much pressure to. Not a bad little call. It was fairly cheap. As far as sound wise, I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't have this one in my turkey vest, but that's okay. Everybody's got something different. Now we'll move on to the Primos Power Crystal. This is one of the slate calls that I started out using when I first started turkey hunting. That's kind of why I bought it, and it's fairly inexpensive too. All right, so this does come with a scratch pads. One is gonna be a really rough, coarse piece of sandpaper, and the other one's gonna be a little bit finer. So before you ever call with this one, you actually have to prep the surface, because right now it won't do anything as glass. So we'll do that real quick. I got this thing scratched up. You can kind of see right here where I didn't really scratch the bottom, how rough it's gonna be once you get it where you need it to be at, and that's what it'll look like. This is what it looked like before I did it, and this is what it looks like now. See what this one sounds like. As far as sound in the woods, that one right there was pretty solid. This one was probably somewhere around $20, $25. You can spend as much money on a slate call as you want. I'm not telling you this is the best one, but this is a pretty good one. We're going into box calls. On a box call, Lynch actually has a tensioner band and two little pins on it to try to hold you at the right angle that you want to be at before you start calling. You always want to make sure there's chalk on the bottom of it, which it does have chalk already on it. And we're just going to see. It may take a few times for this thing to get to working right. Put a little more pressure to it. The main thing with turkey calls is finding the sweet spot on the call. Not all of them call the same, so it'll take you a minute to get used to. This is a brand new box call. I do not have one of these, so. Let's see if we can do a purr. Lynch box call, that was not too bad. Take you a little bit of time to figure out where to hold your hands, how much pressure to put on it. But once you figure it out and you get noise coming out of it, just kind of practice with it, you'll figure it out. All right, so now we're gonna go into this Primos box call. This is a foggy bottom one. This one actually came with the chalk, an extra piece of chalk, which you will need if you're using box calls in the box call itself. Bottom side of the lid's got a little bit of chalk on it. I like to use all surfaces of my lid, so I'm gonna chalk mine all the way out to the edge. Some of you may dog me for putting too much chalk on it, but hey, this is my box call. Now we're getting there. Once I got it chalked up and figured out the pressure on it, that was the main thing. Is use calls that you feel comfortable using. As far as ease of calls and the most easiest ones to use out of here, I could probably go ahead and tell you if you're a beginner and you don't know anything, this little box right here is a pretty good option. And my other choice would be this. This is not hard to figure out. These are not that hard to figure out, and it just takes a little bit of time. Spend a little time when you call. Your lunch break or on the weekends outside. Don't do it inside with your wife or your mama or whoever is in the house, because they're gonna throw a fit. You get in there and just kind of practice. Once you start making noise, then you can fine tune and you figure your pressure out on each one of these calls, and you can call turkeys just like anybody else. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. If you got a favorite turkey call, drop it in the comments. Y'all make sure to click that subscribe button. We'll see y'all next time.